Hi everybody, it's Kristen with Kristen Photography, and I just wanted to kind of show a little bit of the difference between a professional album purchased from me, Kristen Photography, and a consumer grade so-called wedding album. So for many years, you've probably made like little Shutterfly books or blurb books from different vacations that you've taken. I know I've made those before, or the little chat books. And so I know out there, there are some services like Shutterfly, which they do great for invitations, great for save the dates. They have a service that advertises it is a professional wedding album without the photographer's prices. So I wanted to check that out and see what kind of quality that was. And I'll tell you a story. Indulge me on my story time here. Years and years ago when I was getting married, I was on a budget. And I remember going to my photographer who I worked for at the time. And I had my mom and my mother-in-law with me. And I had told them in advance of the meeting, I said, you know what, we're not going to buy parent albums from the photographer. It's going to be too much money. I will just make your book. I'll make it on Shutterfly. It'll be fine. I have a little bit of skill in doing this. Don't worry about it. That. And they said that was fine. We went to the meeting and then they saw the photographer's albums. When we left, they both said they weren't really interested in my homemade books anymore. So I know there's a difference, but that was almost 10 years ago. So I wanted to see what was available out there to the public. And so a lot of brides will say to me, oh, we're just going to make our own album. And so I just want to see like a genuine experience it as a consumer. So I went on the website. I used the same wedding to compare. And I did Shutterfly's best quality book, their premium book, their best possible pages. And it was not a cheap book. It was $170 something before a discount code, because you can almost always find one of those. And I went with a 10 by 10, and I think there was a 12 by 12 too. So I went with a 10 by 10 book, and this is what it looks like. Now, I wanted to do a photo cover. This is the only layout they had to be able to do a photo cover. So I wasn't thrilled with that, because with my own albums, I can do really nice photo covers that wrap around. I'm going to kind of show you that, so hold on one second. So obviously with my own albums, I have a lot more choices, but this is an acrylic cover. So it's super nice. I love that one. And then, let's see if I can do this. Yes, here we go. I also have another photo cover to show you. Let's get you situated here. Okay, so then the photo covers that I offer, they wrap around the entire book. So that's kind of what I was trying to replicate here. Shutterfly does not have that available. Someone asked if this is the Armoire podcast. It is not. And Christy Olson, she's in the comments. She got the Armoire today, so it's gone. But if you watch one of my highlighted Instagram stories, it's called Armoire LOLs, so you can check that out. I finally got rid of it. Okay, so this was the best that they had. And so a couple things that truthfully disappointed me about this book. And again, Shutterfly does a great job. It would make a good parent album. I don't know that it will stand the test of time as an album. It's more like a book to me. So they have sort of like a barcode on the back. I don't know what's up with that. And the pages aren't very thick. So it just doesn't feel like it's going to last forever. Again, it would make a good parent album. The other thing that I struggled with when I was making this was that it was not easy to do. Again, I have a little bit of skill. I've laid out dozens and dozens of albums over the years. And this took me about 3 to 4 hours. And keep in mind, because I was doing it as a consumer, I wasn't able to use, like I would for my own books, Photoshop, InDesign, edit out some of the things that I would edit out in my own books. So now, let me tell you what I do like about this book. Obviously, the price. The book was about $160, $170. My books obviously cost $800 or $900, so that's the difference there. And then something else I do like about their books is their sort of their pearlescent pages. It really makes the skin tone look nice. I did like it. It's not right for every wedding. It goes well with this one because of the colors. But in general, I thought their printing was pretty accurate. Like I said, I didn't like their software. I don't think the quality of the book is the greatest. And I don't like their cover choices as much as what I have available. Okay, so that's this book right here. And then what I consider to be a wedding album. So I'm really proud of this one. I spent quite a long time designing a custom cover for it. I used the exact same pictures in both books, to be fair, to show you the best quality. So my albums obviously come in a little bit more of a substantial box. And I think the difference is just, I do feel that this will stand the test of time better and it will last longer versus this is more of like a picture book. Okay, so I did a similar cover in that I did a cover with text. So let me show you. Now I have the Peel Me acrylic, like it comes on cell phones. I still have that on here because I just want to keep it super nice. But you can see for this one, I kind of did something a little bit more artistic, like a little bit more of a subway poster style. And I kind of abbreviated like their different parts of their day. And this is laid over the top of the Alcoa building, which is right across from their wedding venue and kind of was the view of their wedding. So I laid that over and then I put the matching genuine leather, and you can see this book looks like that compared to the more consumer book, which looks like that. And again, similar number of pictures and things in there. So I just love being able to do these super custom things. Obviously you have to be able to do this with Photoshop, and you're not able to do it on the Shutterfly software. And now what do I love about my books? Okay. So obviously the price is more, but I'll design it for you. So like I said, spending 3-ish hours on this versus this one, I will completely and totally do it for you. Chrissy asked, Sal and Bella Weddings here in Pittsburgh, are you a Fineo user? I am not. I use Miller's Signature, which I just love. So, but Fineo does have really nice albums too. Okay, so then this is an acrylic cover. You can see the nice thick piece of acrylic there. And then the pages on mine are super thick and they last a long time. So you can see the page thickness there. You can kind of see, and then if you were to see it in person, so that's actually a really good distinction. If you were to see it in person, you'd be able to feel that this is a true matte pages, which I just love the feel of it. It's so smooth. It's a photo page, but it's not shiny at all. It really just brings out the color of the wedding. It's literally my favorite paper type. And even though it costs me more, I don't charge the client more for it. I don't charge the client more for it because I just want people to have it if they want it. That's how much I love this page. So again, now of course I'm partial to like my designs in the album versus what was available with Shutterfly. They didn't have as many unique designs available. Like for example, I don't charge by the page for my albums. So I love being able to have all this negative space and then have 3 quick moments right here that kind of tell a little bit of a wedding day story. Yeah, and it is a nice heavy book. It's huge. So I just love it. And same thing, for example, being able to tell like little stories within the album. So yeah, that's basically the difference. Now, obviously there's a price difference here, but your time is worth something when you have to design it yourself. And another thing is I'm able to remove on all my clients' albums exit signs, stray hairs, people in the background that don't belong there, and just really make the book great. We can touch up everybody's skin versus if you make your own album, you don't get that same high level of retouching. Just because you're making it on your own. But like I said, I'm happy to do that for my clients. Oh, I love this page. Oh my goodness. It's one of my favorites. Chrissy said she loves that groom photo. Everybody loves that groom photo. It's one of my favorites too. I entered it in Shoot and Share, so obviously I really like that one. The one that's from up above, or do you like... Okay, so this one's artsy, right? He's like walking away downtown. Or this one... I like them together. That's why I put them on the same spread. So that's the kind of difference there. if you design it yourself, maybe you'll just put like one picture per page, but I love doing like things that complement each other. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from here. And let me show you a couple more. I love this one. I usually end with a picture of the couple. Oh, this one. This might be like one of my favorite shots that I've ever taken in my whole life. So you can see it kind of stretches across the page. This is a 12 by 12 album, so each page is, each spread, I should say, is a 12-inch spread by 24. So this is a beast of a book, and you can see the pages are a true lay flat page, which Shutterfly also offers, but I just do like this size book better, this style of page better, and I just think it's going to hold up longer. And again, if you would ever have any problems with your book, if it would come apart or something from normal wear and tear, you could always get in touch with me. And the way it works with albums is I pre-design you an album with your pictures in it. You tell me what you don't like. We'll swap it out. Then I will show you another draft. At that point, like 99% of people are good. So I will print it, or I'll let you do one more little thing of changes. And then you'll pick your cover, you'll pick your paper type. I have a whole PDF booklet that shows you what to do, and I can also Skype with you, or you can come here to my meeting space and you can look at them in person. And then from there, it usually arrives here in less than a week, and I usually will just ship them to you, or if you're local, I will drop them off because I don't want it to rain on your porch and have your album get wet. So yes, okay, let's see. So we have here such a good point. The time it takes to design these books takes forever. That is true. An excellent way to have a ton of large, beautiful photos without having them all on the wall at once. Yes. Okay, so how many people have told me that they do not, or their husband doesn't, or their wife doesn't want them to have like a quote unquote wedding shrine? I don't think there's anything wrong with that, with having a ton of wedding pictures on the wall. I know growing up, my parents had me, they'd been married for about 5 years. So by the time I was a kid, 5 or 6 years old, I think my parents literally had just 2 wedding pictures on the wall that I can remember. One behind their bed, old school 11 by 14, mounted on like a piece of wood, if you've ever seen those. And then I think they used to have in the hallway or on the steps, one bridal party picture. And that was literally it. Everything else was in their album. So it is a nice way. And when people come over to your new place, you can have this on your coffee table. They can go through the album. That way it's not like a shrine to yourselves. If you're concerned about that, if not, who cares? Put them on the wall if you want to put them on the wall. But I know some people have said, as the years go by, when they first get married, they'll probably have several wedding pictures on the wall. And then, as you have kids or dogs or whatever, or just travel, get artwork, it kind of gets replaced. So the wedding book is a great way to have your pictures printed and displayed, but not so, not on a 40 by 60 canvas of just your faces at the altar, unless that's what you want, and then you should do you. Okay, so that kind of is my brief overview of the consumer book. Again, there were some things I really did like about it. The price, unbeatable. The printing material, the pearlescent pages could work for some weddings, not all, but for some in general. I thought it was a good option if you're on a budget. However, I was giving a very honest review. However, I did think their software was a little difficult to use. It took me quite a few hours, and I have experience in this. There's not a way to retouch the images as far as like removing stray hair, exit signs, that kind of thing. And the cover choices are really limited. They also don't have thick page albums available, which I think is what's going to really make it last. So you can see here, this is the thickness of their pages. And let's see here. Yeah, we can do this. We'll have to put mine down first because it's a beast. So this is the thickness of my pages, and this is the thickness of their pages. So you can kind of see it's much thinner. It's bendable versus mine are like super thick, heavy photo substrate. And of course, I'm partial to the covers that we have to offer here. Okay, great. So if you want to get in touch and get an album, you are certainly welcome to. We have all of the photos that we've taken from our first season all the way until now, which is season 9 that I'm in for weddings. So we have that available. If you're this year's bride, I'm pre-designing. Hey guys. If you are this year's bride, I'm pre-designing you a book just in case you want it. You can always come back to us for anniversaries or after your wedding. If you get a little bit of wedding money and you want to spend it, you can do that. And we also do offer parent books as well. With the purchase of our signature album, our couples album, we do offer a little bit of a discount on our parent books. So you're able to get those if you want them to have a really nice quality book that's just maybe a little smaller than yours. Again, this is the largest book I offer in a square. It's a 12 by 12. And most people for parents go 10 by 10 or 8 by 8 is a good size too. Okay, great. Thank you guys so much for indulging me when I showed the difference in the two albums. And especially if you come here, I'll be happy to let you see it. If you see the consumer album, you'll be like, that's nice. And then when you see the professional album, a lot of times you don't want the consumer album as much. And again, they do advertise this consumer album as a professional wedding album. And that's the only sort of thing I disagree with. I wouldn't say it's a professional wedding album just because I don't know that it's going to last as long as a book that is acrylic and leather would last. Christy says, totally trying to do that this year via your advice. Pre-design for the win. I think so. I think it's great to pre-design for your clients because that way it takes so much of the work off of them. Because as a bride or groom, if you get several hundred pictures from a wedding, it is so hard to put them together. And for example, in this book, I have a photo I really love of where they got married, which is St. Paul's. And I will show it to you. So I love to use like scene setting images. And I will show you here. Let's see here. Okay, after the groom. Here it is. Okay, so I love to just go ahead and have part of one of the spreads be where you got married. Because it kind of sets it up. Because then the next spread we're going to go into is of the actual ceremony itself. So I don't mind, having a page or 2 pages of the ceremony location. Things like that are the reason I pre-design, because as a bride or groom, you might not think, oh, this is one of the most important pictures to me. Obviously, a picture of the outside of your church is not the most important picture to you, but it's something I do think should be included in the album because it kind of tells a story. So, that's all I have to say about consumer versus professional albums. Again, get in touch with me if you'd like to get a professional album. And thank you guys so much. If you're shooting a wedding tomorrow, it is wedding season. I have one, so best of luck to you. I know you're going to rock it. And thanks so much, guys. Have a great night. Bye-bye.